For as long as he can remember, Ohio native Junior Cement always had a fondness for the vanning lifestyle. In 1975, fate led Junior to a junkyard his dad owned up in Painesville, Ohio, right up to the wreck of a '75 Dodge Tradesman 200 that he bought for $900.
Rolled over in a snowstorm. We bought it, repaired it. This is what we came up with it 47 years later.
Every piece of metal, he said, was repaired on the van from the ground up. From rehaul to overhaul, the Tradesman was reborn into the name The Sweet Emotion, named after the Aerosmith song, which would then go on to attend its first public car show at Lake County Fairgrounds in 1976.
It was kind of neat. There were, 4 or 5 vans there, and the cars and everything, and we ended up winning first place. There was even a Coca-Cola van there that we beat, so that was kind of neat. That's what kind of started it all, the first trophy, all right.
And he even put on the front end of a '75 Chrysler Cordoba, plush with a chrome wiper grill.
My dad had the junkyard, so I started fitting different front ends. Because we had a junkyard, we had all kinds. And the Cordoba just fit the best and looked the best. So that's why we went with that.
With upgrades came a trip to Indiana for the Cement family's first Van Nationals, the 10th annual Van Nationals. There, they won 3rd place on debut.
The car show is just vans, and all the vans go against each other. But at the van inns, where they have the van shows, vans only, you've got different Ford, Chevy, Dodge, then you have a mild custom, a street custom, Radical. Radical is something that's been chopped and everything, and it's just...
They break them up in years.
Yeah, and they break them up in years. So it's quite... There's probably, 60 different classes at least, at the Van Nationals, there's probably 60 classes. And people come from all over the country, actually all over the world. We get vanners from Belgium, England, Norway, that come to the Nationals. And some have brought their vans. Canada a lot, yeah. And it's coming back, it was kind of, the 70s was the hotbed of it, and then the gas shortage came and everything, and just people weren't getting into vans at that time then, in the early 80s and that. But now it's really starting to pick up. People are finding a lot of these older vans in garages that have been sitting for 20 years and breaking them out and selling them to new people, and it's neat to see them back on the road again.
Additionally, hydraulics were added on in 1982.
A friend of mine in Ohio and myself, we did it ourselves. Hired a kit from California, and it come with no directions. I don't know how many phone calls I had to make to find out what we had to do, but we made it work, and it's been awesome ever since. Did like 1,200 vans, I believe, if I remember correctly there, from all over. And yeah, it was very, very enlightening to see all these vans in one place. It was definitely quite an experience. And now this year is the 50th Nationals, so it's been going on for a long time.
It started in Colorado, so it's full circle this year, the 50th.
Throughout its odyssey, Junior and his wife Glenda even welcomed artists to add their artwork to the canvas of the Sweet Emotion. Among the artworks is this here. The front windshield was etched by hand, all done with a Dremel, according to Junior, which was done by a friend of his from Ohio who was a tattoo artist. And in 2 days, he did the etching by eye and wrote nothing on the windshield.
Yeah, no, a lot of times, like a painter, striper guy, he'll draw rough of what he's going to paint on with a grease stick, you know. Where this guy, he did nothing. He just started, and amazing, just amazing.
In the late 1980s, the Sweet Emotion had a special makeover scheduled at Lake Erie College, where 2 art students conducted an art project. To the right side of the van, a castle is painted, which depicts, according to Junior, the Secret Garden Society.
Well, the Secret Garden Society, that was at the Nationals, that a group of us found this really secluded little spot. And there was only a select few of us could get in there.
Was Kansas?
Yeah, I think it was Kansas. And we came up with the name. We're in the Secret Garden Society. You know, you can't come here. You know, we had our own little section there. It was pretty cool. I'm not one to tell them what, you know, you put what you think should be on there, you know, really. And we've been really lucky with it. People have done awesome work through the years on it.
In 1989, the Sweet Emotion and the Cement family went their separate ways when Junior began starting a towing business, thereby selling the Sweet Emotion for $10,000. 2.5 years later, the Sweet Emotion came home to the Cement family, with the previous owners only driving the van for about 400 miles more than what Junior and Glenda sold it for. The owner even added a couple of unicorns at the rear after making repairs from contact with a mailbox.
And that was where we could get money. I hated to do it.
I think we had a value. We had no idea that we were going to get it back. It's a crazy story how that happened.
They had more fun pulling it out in their front yard and just sitting there and drinking some beers in it. It was an older couple that bought it. I think they thought they bought a traveling van, not really realizing it was a custom show van, you know, with the hydraulics and all that. But they took great care of it. They lived on a dirt road. Remember that?
Yeah, when we went to go pick it up, I go, they've been driving down this road for 2.5 years.
Shuddering.
It might not look too pretty. Because, you know, we knew they bought it to drive and travel.
Right.
But they just parked it in their garage. We have our names on the inside of the doors. They never even took our names off the inside of the doors. Our names are still on there when we went and looked at it.
We had a friend tell us that they'd seen it at an auction for sale and it didn't sell. Well, we got the guy's phone number and knew it was ours and gave us the info. And we called the guy, didn't say who we were or anything, just we'd like to look. Heard you had a van for sale, we'd like to look at it, you know. So we go over there and we're trying to be inconspicuous, not be the owners of the van, and we pull in and get out of the car. He hands me the keys. He says, "You know it better than I ever will." Before I even said a word, he knew it was my van. And we went out.
He knew we were buying it back. He knew it was like...
The wife, she says, "Why do you want that van back?" I said, "Yeah, it's a big part of our life. You know, we're in a situation. We had to sell it, but now we can buy it back maybe from you." And we ended up buying it back. Took it home. Yeah,
I was
in the
going
back
to say,
corner.
they did.
They back to this mailbox and took it to John Torma in Ashtabula, Ohio. He painted the 2 unicorns on the back corners in the back. So you got a little bonus for renting it out for 2.5 years.
Yeah, they stored it for us inside storage for a few years.
Yeah, they definitely took
added
care of
some
it.
unicorns.
We were very lucky. I mean, a story you don't hear very often where you can sell something and then get it back and it's still pretty pristine, you know. It was very nice.
With the 90s in full swing, the Sweet Emotion was in a new decade. Throughout its travels, the Sweet Emotion has not only been featured in major car magazines, like Hemming's Custom Car Magazine, it also made the national tube on the TV show The Exciting World of Speed and Beauty in 1994.
The running boards are solid black walnuts. Door jambs are all pinstriped.
The inside is all carpeted cabinets, sink, icebox, wine rack, wood across the dash, CB. We even have an 8-track tape player in this. Nostalgia. This is your old hippie van here. We started building this in '75. This is my '75 Dodge van. It's the lowrider van. We knew about Speed Beauty, yeah, we knew about it. I was just excited that they wanted to video our van, you know, and possibly be on the program. And it made it, you know, so that was very, very neat. It was pretty neat. The Nationals, again, California, you know, and you see these people walking around the world of Speed Beauty. They came up and asked us to film the van to put it on their program. And it's like, well, yes, you know, so we got interviewed and everything and did that. And while the Nationals were going on, a group named Fu Manchu in California, they're a headbanger rock group. They were too young to get into the Nationals. They were camped outside the fences with their video cameras and taped the vans coming in and out and going and everything. And we ended up being a big part of that video. As a matter of fact, it was put on their CD, which had a DVD of King of the Road. And that's the song we're in, and it's the icon that you hit to start the music, and then it's played all through it.
And the vehicle we used to get Sweet Emotion there was a van body on a flatbed.
Yeah, we had a
I
Chevy.
don't have many pictures of that. It was a unique vehicle.
Yeah, that was a Chevy van cut in half and shortened the cab. That was the cab of the truck, and then had a rollback bed on the back. And we hauled Sweet Emotion all the way to California on that.
Would be neat to still have that today.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, a fellow named Ray Hendricks, an old neighbor of mine, is the one that made the running boards. I came up with the idea, and he was a woodman. He used to build boats, and he made them for us. And turned out awesome. He did the wood on the dash that says Sweet Emotion also, and then he had Glinda take the router and do the carving of Sweet Emotion.
Yeah, he carved the wood and gave me the router and goes, okay, go ahead and write. And I go, I didn't practice on anything.
Yeah.
I had to first write Sweet Emotion. And it's
turned out awesome.
Pretty well
Yeah.
for the first time, for
Yeah.
sure.
In 2001, Junior and Glenda traveled to a Fu Manchu concert in Ohio, reuniting with the band and thanking them for featuring the van in their music video.
We didn't take the van, we just went ourselves. I just had a picture of the van.
We had that sign,
Yeah.
CD.
Yeah, Scott Hill, the lead singer in that, it was very, very neat, you know. I tell him, I says, you guys are really doing great, you know. I said, you used my band in your video, where's my royalty? His mouth dropped. You know, we're talking younger kids, and I says, dude, no, I appreciate what you're doing for banning and promoting banning. It's awesome. So, yeah, we became pretty good friends there, I think.
Every corner of the Sweet Emotion is a mobile art museum. Among the pieces, a picture of a woman riding a Pegasus, depicting Glenda riding the winged divine stallion. Canvassed near the side of the door on the right side by the company Hot Brush FX Airtight Artistry 20 years ago.
We'd met Hot Brush down here when we moved down here, and he says he could change it. And I looked through some of his art books he had, and they had this really good picture of a Pegasus with another lady on it. I says, put my wife on that there, and yeah. So we went ahead and let him do it, and it turned out awesome.
Well, the picture before that wasn't really painted. It was like a decoupage.
Yeah, part of it
picture.
was decoupage, yeah, and it just wasn't.
And it just started peeling up, or it needed repair.
Yeah, he's really a very good artist. He's up in Dade City now? Yeah, Dade City now. He moved from Inglewood to Dade City, and we moved his
He has
shop
a
for
tarpon
him.
fish for us now.
Yeah, he's painting a tarpon for me. We'll be painting it.
Enter the rear, interior, The seeker will learn it is the opposite of a Cordoba. From the eyeball-shaped mirror mounted above the sink, to the built-in counter, to the refrigerator and storage cabinets, complete with an additional storage cabinet behind the seats. Opposite of plush Corinthian leather, Red Angel hair carpeting is decked out all throughout the master bedroom, and the entry to the room with the leather inserts.
That was all done in the late 70s when we originally built the van. There's the cabinet and the refrigerator, the sink and the wine rack and that, and the mirror. That was all back in the 70s. Well, we were there for an event, but we made it to where we could get that at the same time. They wanted to ship it. They were all about shipping. And I said, no, we're going to be in California. Kind of had to push into, and they did do it. And so I picked it up while we were there, and it was a pretty strange place. It was in a warehouse, and they had mannequins, and they were filming and stuff, and it was just kind of, it was different. California, the land of fruit and nuts.
Warehouse district.
Yeah.
What doesn't go unnoticed is the wheelie bars, which were added for hydraulic bouncing fun, according to Junior. Which he also said he added on just to add a little something different. Supported with Krager wheels, an octagon steering wheel is among the many operating components of the Sweet Emotion. Styling that is out of this world as it is groovy, with the wooden dash etching the name Sweet Emotion, giving eye candy for every pleasure cruise. At the heart of the Sweet Emotion exists a modified 318 Chrysler V8 with 340 heads of the Edelbrock carburetor Hemi cam, coupled to its original Dodge TorqueFlite automatic transmission, and surrounded with a sea of blue carpeting throughout the interior and pinstriped door jambs. Provided is an overhead console with a CB radio and an 8-track tape player. The Sweet Emotion, in its travels, has been an eye-opener for many who come across it. A standalone from the prestige and perhaps inspiration for others to join the vanner's life. Junior and Glenda continue to embrace the vanning life with the Sweet Emotion.
It's like a family. It's like a family. I mean, they come here and visit, and when we travel, we stop at their places and visit and spend the night. And, it's a family.
We just, the last 3 weekends in a row, we took it to the Charlotte County Fairgrounds,
Yeah.
and we won a trophy. And then we went to,
Hudson.
up to, there was a vanning event at Sam's Tiki Bar. They call it the Tax Relief Show. We won a trophy there. And then we did a local show here in Inglewood the third weekend. We took our grandsons, and we won People's Choice Award there. So 3 weekends in a row, we won trophies. So our friends here say, see, you don't have to go all the way to Colorado to get a trophy. You can get it locally here. And you see all the trophies in the garage. Like, a lot of those are Van National trophies. It's fun to win.